reading If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, and there's a lot of examples of cause and effect in here, right?
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to your desk, and I am going to give you a paper that has some causes and some effects. If it has a cause listed, then the effect will be blank, and you're going to read the cause and write what happened because of it. If the effect is listed, then you're going to read the effect and label what happened in order to make that happen, okay? So y'all head back to your desk quietly, and I will give you your piece of paper.
Is it over that book?
It is over this book.
I'm with somebody.
Sure. Okay, go back to your desk quickly and quietly. So, as I hand this out, I'm going to go over the first one with you, just to give you an example. It says, if you give a mouse a cookie, is the cause. So what is the effect? Raise your hand if you give a mouse a cookie. Jacob, what happens if you give a mouse a cookie?
He'll want milk.
He'll want a glass of milk. So what's the first thing you're going to write down in effect?
Milk.
He wants some milk. So go ahead and finish the last couple of those. And when you're done, give me a thumbs up. Good, Chicky. So what made him ask for a straw? He had a glass of milk, but he couldn't pick the glass up, so what did he need?
How do you spell milk again? I forgot.
Spell it the best
M-I-L.
you can. Okay, I'm also going to be handing out your nonfiction flip book, so we'll look at that in just a second. What happened that he needed to ask for a straw? He had milk. So he had a glass of milk, and then the effect is he needed a straw, right? Sure. So if you give him out paper and crayons, what's he gonna do? What's the first thing he did before that? Go. Okay, how's it going over here?
Good. I'm almost done.
Good. Let's see. When he looks in the mirror, what did he see when he looked in the mirror? Himself, but what did he notice about himself? He needed a haircut.
I'm done.
So what did he do that brought him back to the refrigerator? What caused him to be back at the refrigerator?
He drew a picture.
He drew a picture, and he had to hang it up, right?
Yeah.
Stand right here. Right here. When you guys are finished, you can start a stack right here. Just go sit down real quick, and I'll have it up. Go sit right back down. Okay, so we're looking at cause and effect today. So when you see a text and you're looking for cause and effect, you're wondering, is this piece of writing explaining why something happened? Kind of the eyes up here, please. Why something happened. Okay, so what we're going to do is when we fill this out, we're looking for the cause and then the effect. So what happened and then what happened because of that, okay? So let's see an example. Or what happens because of it. So head injuries account for between 4% and 22% of all soccer injuries. These can result in concussions. A concussion may occur when someone's head strikes an object. The most common cause of a concussion during soccer is when one player's head strikes another player's head. The second most common cause of a soccer-related concussion is when the ball is kicked from a close range and hits a player's head. What does close range mean? Addison, what is close range? So very close. So if you were right there and you kicked the ball, that's a very close range, right? Okay. Heading the ball does not cause head injuries as long as it's done properly. Okay, let's look. So what makes that passage that we just read have cause and effect structures? What was one of the causes that it talked about?
Head injuries.
Head injuries. So let's see. If two players hit their heads against each other, what's going to happen?
Head injury.
Leilani.
An injury.
An injury. What is another cause?
Concussion.
We talked about two players' heads hitting, and then what was the other thing that could happen? Brody.
A soccer ball hit to the head.
A soccer ball to the head. So if someone kicks the soccer ball at a very close range and it hits you in the head, you could get a concussion, right? So those are our two causes. We have two players who'd run into each other and their heads get hit, or a ball could hit someone's head when it's close range. And then we said, what's going to happen because of that?
An injury.
A head injury, right?
Or concussion.
Okay, so that is an example of how we're going to look at cause and effect. So go ahead and open your flip book to page 17. Right there. And it's going to show you the little graphic organizer that we just used with the arrow that points to the effect. So we have the cause leads to the effect. That's why it's an arrow, okay? And who can read for me the signal words for a cause and effect text? Will, go ahead and read them for me.
What page?
17.
Signal for cause and effect.
Cause.
Because effect, therefore, as a
Consequence.
consequence, as a result, if then, due to, reason, other reason, sense.
Okay. Who can give me an example using one of these words? Who can give me a sentence with one of these words? Jacob, what do you got?
I like pizza, but another reason I like pizza is because it has pepperoni.
Okay, so I like pizza. Another reason I like pizza is because it has pepperoni. So what's you like pizza, and why do you like pizza? Because it has pepperoni. Will, can you give me an example?
Due to the snowy weather, you won't have school on Monday.
Due to the snowy weather, we won't have school on Monday. So what was the cause in that?
During the snow.
The snowy weather, and then what happened because it snowed?
No school.
No school. Okay, so due to Martin Luther King being on Monday, we won't have school this Monday, right? So what's the cause? What's the cause?
Martin Luther King's birthday.
Martin Luther King Day, and what's the effect?
We won't school.
No school Monday. Okay, go ahead and flip to page 18, and I'm going to read this passage. As I'm reading, I want you to circle any of the words that you see that mean this is a cause and effect passage, okay? So if you need, you can flip back to the page before to see those words again. But I'm going to go ahead and start reading this, okay? According to a study conducted in 1988, students spend less than 2% of their free time reading. This statistic concerns many teachers because they know the harmful results that will occur if children choose not to read. Students who do not read will struggle with school, and with each progressing year, school will become more and more difficult. Students who do not read independently tend to do poorly on achievement tests in all areas. Many students who choose not to read independently when they are young do not go to college. Consequently, they will not have access to higher paying careers. Clearly, there are several negative effects for students who choose not to read during their free time. Research shows that students who do read outside of school do well throughout their academic career. They do well on achievement tests in all areas. Students who read independently go on to obtain higher paying jobs after college. There are numerous positive effects for students who choose to spend some of their free time reading. Okay, did anybody notice any words that make this a cause and effect passage? Kylie, what'd you find? Consequently, that is a good one. It gave us a reason, then it said consequently, so because of this, this is what happens. Okay, Jasmine, what'd you find? Because, good job. Okay, Will, did you find one?
I found
Consequently as well. Birdie, what'd you get?
consequently.
Consequently. What'd you get, Seamus? Choose. Okay, so who can go through this and find me a sentence that has a cause and effect in it? So look through, and so I see one. Students who do not read will struggle with school.
That was the one I was going to use.
Okay, well find me a different one. There's a lot in this passage.
Oh,
Okay, Jacob, what'd you
use
find?
that one? Consequently, they will not have access to higher pay.
Okay, so what is the cause in there?
Consequently.
What is it saying? If you don't what? So if you don't read independently, then you may not have access to higher paying jobs if you don't go to college, right? Leilani, what did you find?
Hold on, I lost it. Students who do not read independently tend to do poorly on achievement tests in all areas.
Good. So what's the cause?
Students who do not read.
So if you don't read independently, then what's the effect?
Immediately
Then you might do poorly on what?
on tests.
On tests. So the cause is if you don't read independently, then you might not do poor. Then you might do poorly on the test. Okay. So how do we? 1 second. How do you write that this is a cause and effect passage? At the bottom, what are you going to write? How do we say that? How do you defend your thing? Will, what did you get?
I know this is a cause and effect passage because.
Yes. I know this is a cause and effect passage because, and tell me what you found in here that makes this a cause and effect text. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to write that down. Yes. So anything in there that helps you know this is cause and effect. So it could be the words that you circled, or it could be an example of a cause and effect that you found, okay? Anything that's going to tell you, this is cause and effect because it tells me this.
It seems like news.
Spell it the best you can, okay? So let's see what you can.
Okay, let me see.
guys put?
Do we do this?
Okay, what you get? Okay, so it gives you the cause and effect. I like that you both gave me different examples. Jennifer, what do you need? Okay, when you're done, give me a thumbs up on top of your head. Okay. On the last couple of you are finishing writing your thoughts, I'm going to start reading the next passage, okay?